Welcome everybody. My name is Spartan Gaming 18. I'm here with my friend from last night, Mr. Frank Geeling, and one of my other friends. His name is Christian, otherwise known as Yes Fan from the Wrestling Amino app I plugged last night. If y'all watched last night's episode, you saw that me, Frank, and our friend Devin did a payback prediction challenge. You can check that out in the description below. Which yes, I'm going to put in the description below, as in I have to listen to this one to remind myself to put it in the description below.
Brandon.
I'm gonna have to. Today we are going to be discussing. We're going to be doing a list, a couple of recent news in wrestling world. Plus, we're going to be discussing the cruiserweight tournament, and if we need be, we'll come up with another topic halfway through. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a little bit of news recently come up. I read today that TNA is officially $100,000 into debt.
And I'd like to actually... I'm going to put my 2 cents in this as well. Even though 2 cents probably wouldn't even come close to helping them in any way.
It wouldn't. TNA's
dead. But yeah, with the recent... Like, I'm going to be serious. Like, I used to watch TNA every Thursday when it was on Thursday on Spike. My regiment used to be Monday Night Raw. Then it would be whatever was on Tuesday, whatever I felt like. Wednesday would be my go-to wrestling of the local companies because we had that sometimes. Then it would be Spike TV, Impact Wrestling, or TNA Wrestling, depending on how you go. Friday Night SmackDown. Saturday would be just recapping everything that happened and watching maybe a little Ghost Adventures in the process. But that was my... And then Sundays would be the pay-per-views, if they were on. And so, it was about the time when Hogan and Bischoff were the people in charge at the time, and I thought maybe it would be, a little better. Because the content was already decent enough as it was.
Not really.
Like, it made you feel like it was that go-to kick-ass wrestling with some story behind all matches. It wasn't just, we're going to put these two people in matches because we want to. It was actually, like, there was a reason behind every match. But then when the whole, we're going to try and we're going to start ourselves another Monday Night War, that's when it just started getting weird for me. Because I was still watching the tapings that they had recorded on Thursdays, but I wasn't watching it live because Raw was my go-to show. It always was my go-to show.
Mm-hmm.
Even during the WCW wars, I never really watched WCW much, but I would, browse it whenever commercial was happening because they sometimes would be like going through commercials at different times.
Of course.
So, but yeah, you had guys like Sting, AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Matt Morgan, Joey Ryan. You had all these guys who were good in the ring, and not just that, they were also good on the mic. I felt like every person in TNA at the time was good.
A legitimate superstar.
Yeah, a legitimate star. And that's where I thought maybe they could actually go against WWE. But it still wasn't what I was into, really, at the time.
I don't think there's a company on the planet today that can actually go against WWE.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably Lucha Underground. Probably.
Lucha Underground in terms of wrestling ability, yes. But
within a year or so, I think maybe Lucha Underground could. True. But it was about the time they started the Aces and Eights angle is when I started losing my interest in it because I really saw no point in it because you had AJ Styles who was gone for some reason.
Well, he came back, mind you.
Yeah, he came back with this awesome gimmick, my ad.
With the,
which, honestly, is probably one of my top 5 favorite wrestling theme songs, which we could actually do, quote-unquote, one time during a podcast.
Yes, that's another thing we'll be doing in these podcasts. Eventually, we'll be doing a wrestling theme song challenge where we'll each play different theme songs and try to guess whose it is.
And it could be from WWE, TNA, NXT, Ring of Honor.
Lucha
Hell, it could even
Underground.
be a mashup between two superstars we've never even we would never have thought of hearing before,
Exactly.
which would be actually really cool.
See, I was watching TNA at the time. I didn't watch TNA before Aces and Eights. I watched TNA during Aces and Eights and a little bit afterwards. And I watched TNA today too.
I started watching it a little bit I started watching it a little bit beforehand, and I liked the way it was going a little bit. But then I remember the Jeff Hardy incident too, and I'm calling it that because I don't know what else to call it.
There's nothing else to call it. I mean, that was just a horrible night.
Horrible. Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that in any other way than why. They knew he wasn't in good condition. They knew he wasn't going to be 100% going down to the ring, even though he showed up late and he showed up drunk. Might I add?
I think it was high actually. I think it was.
No, he showed up drunk and then was doing. He already showed up drunk, where he was already stumbling on his feet, and then he apparently did because they found out in his blood when they took the blood samples, he was drunk longer than he was high.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he was already bad enough as is. You could see it in his eyes through the makeup.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Jeff has finally cleaned himself up. Because he finally realized, oh, he's gonna die.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good.
I mean, if the Daredevil stunts he does don't kill him, then the drugs will.
Yeah, but now that he's clean,
Exactly.
he's already done some major damage to his body in the process.
Yeah.
But you have to also think too, like, I think it was because of those drugs that he was actually able to get back up so many times.
Yeah.
It's because he was so numbed out,
Yeah.
it didn't matter to him.
True.
But
But
it was about the time Aces and Eights started coming out around is when I started losing a little interest. But then when AJ Styles came back with this awesome gimmick, I was like, maybe it's starting to get a little better, but it never did. Because they started putting Magnus as champion, which I'm not going to shine on Magnus because Magnus was a good superstar. He was or a star in general, teenage star.
Yeah, exactly. He was a good star.
Definitely.
But he didn't have the wrestling talent to back up that star and to make
I think
TNA World
if you actually look at more of his indie stuff, they really suppressed him. Like it's not his fault entirely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean that's the same way with a lot of the superstars now in WWE is they suppress their abilities to the point where they can't really pull off their moveset.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Neville. He's not allowed to do the imploding 450 splash. He's done that
but he still does the
the
red arrow, which when I saw that for the first time, I was like in shock.
Yeah,
like my
I know,
eyes just bugged out of my head. Like someone could do that.
I'm surprised they've let AJ Styles use the Styles Clash.
Even though it was only against Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho says only allow it on me.
Curtis Axel took it.
Yeah, one time, but that was before they banned it too. You have to remember that.
I mean, and then you look at guys nowadays in WWE, like they banned the curb stomp, which is a lot less dangerous than a lot of moves performed in WWE today. The pedigree is even more dangerous.
Yeah, but you also have to think too. You could kill someone with a curb stomp, an actual curb stomp, compared to a pedigree. I think because you have more of a chance to kill someone with a fucking curb stomp than you can a pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least with a pedigree, you can pull them up. A curb stomp, you're just driving their head straight into the mat.
True.
It's like the coup de grace, like so much weight coming down right on your ribs, right on your chest. If you go that much impact, if you just slip up
you could
time,
crush someone's heart.
Exactly.
In the process.
Yeah.
So onto a little bit of extra news in dealing with TNA. Has anybody heard?
Oh wait, I never got to my point.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
But
basically, but after the whole Aces and Eights angle and having Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, as the world champion, which he wasn't a bad champion, and I think he deserved it a little bit, but at the same time he didn't. But the way they went with it, it was bad, in my opinion. With the whole, I need people to back me up. He was the type of guy where, at the time, where He could attack you from behind and still back it up in the ring. He didn't need other people.
Yeah.
But for some reason they gave him that, and it just that's when they lost me.
So on to a little bit of other news real quick. Anybody here that Ring of Honor is thinking of buying out TNA?
Now, that doesn't surprise me, considering a lot of talent from Ring of Honor jump shipped to TNA. So basically buying their talent back that they want is good. However, it makes you concerned about the guys like Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Bobby Lashley, Drew Galloway. Like, those guys that were
Drew Galloway
good.
performs all over the world still already.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like...
Yeah.
You have
Drew Galloway is all these different places. I think he can go back to Progress if he really wants to.
Yeah, but that's not the point I'm getting to. What I'm trying to get to is they're going to ask for a lot of money, and I don't think Ring of Honor would be able to
pay
that money, making them
their
contract.
They did just get a whole brand new arena set up for their tapings and everything.
Well, yeah, because they're going to be on Spike TV now.
Exactly, and that's great in and of itself. Ring of Honor has become the second biggest promotion in America.
True, with TNA still right behind them.
Yep.
Even though TNA is probably going to get bought out within the next couple of months.
Probably.
All right, so on to a little bit.
Especially with Pop trying to drop them now.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I gotta turn my phone down. I can hear that.
A little bit of other news in the world of wrestling: the Global Cruiserweight Tournament. I'm not sure all who has officially qualified yet.
I'm gonna say this right now. I saw the match between Zack Sabre and Flash Morgan, and I've seen Flash Morgan compete for New Wrestling. The guy is good. I mean, he's really good. And the Zack Sabre guy, I'm not entirely sure of him. Like, I've never really seen him before, and it was my first time.
I've seen some stuff from him. He's good.
But I've seen what Flash Morgan can do, and he technically considers himself the fastest man alive. Which, he's a fast competitor when you see him, because he competes in New Wrestling's 10-minute matches, which is the Gen X Championship.
Uh-huh.
And he's good. Jesus Christ, that's still fucking loud.
Turn your phone down to vibrate, Frank.
Sorry. Oh my god.
So other than that, I think there are like 4 other people that have qualified for it, and a lot of people are speculating that quite possibly Mr. Ricochet could possibly get into the qualifications. But there are a lot of people like, no, he was at the recent Lucha Underground tapings and he signed for this, and this, and yada yada yada. But then again, you're looking at all these guys and like, Ricochet needs to be in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
One of the guys I think that should be in it, and I'm not sure if he is a cruiserweight or not because I can't remember if he is, but why not Alex Shelley?
Alex Shelley would be amazing, but I don't think he meets the weight requirements that WWE's looking for.
Well, I think it was under 213 pounds he has to be.
I think it was somewhere under there, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have someone like, what was his tag team partner's name from the Moisture Machine Guns?
Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
Chris Sabin, yeah. Those two competing against each other just to be in a qualifying round would be an amazing match because they know each other so well.
Yeah, true. All right, so let's.
Hell, even if it was a finals match, it would make my day.
All right, so let's get into this. We're gonna go into our top 5, either former or current NXT superstars that are still in WWE today. Chris, we're gonna let you start.
And don't forget to give the reason why, too.
Yeah, don't forget to give the reason
why. My
why.
number 5 is definitely a new star. Came from New Japan. Shinsuke Nakamura. Definitely got to be my number 5. Watched many of his New Japan stuff. I've loved him from the start. His charismatic personality, his in-ring work. It just amazes me sometimes. And his debut match against Zayn, definitely a good way to start.
Miss theme song.
Yeah, definitely theme song too. Probably my favorite theme song right now. I mean, except AJ Styles, maybe.
Frank, how about you?
Number 5 for me is actually going to surprise you guys. Roman Reigns. Even think about the progress that he's made from when he started off. Too, he went from being a guy wearing these fucking wrestling tights that made no sense to him for his look, to being a member of the Shield, being a former tag team champion along with Seth Rollins, which is the only thing which is one of 2 things that he only holds accounted for with Seth Rollins on the same page, because they were both tag team champions and they've both been WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So there's that. Then he went from being this, oh, I'm just gonna help you guys team up, to being, a certified badass. But I think he would be a little bit higher on the list if he wasn't for the current gimmick that he has.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
With the whole, if he stayed with the whole, I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna kick your ass, and then I'm gonna leave gimmick, that would make it perfect. But the way he's going with his mic skills is what really just bothers me. It puts him at number 5.
So my number 5, honestly, I was going to have Adam Rose on here. Only if he was Leo Kruger. Only if his gimmick was Leo Kruger, but his gimmick is not Leo Kruger, which infuriates me to no end. So my number 5 right now is actually going to be Neville.
I was gonna put Neville as my number 5, but then I thought you gotta think about what he's done too. That's the number one thing.
Give me a second. Well, I know he hasn't really done anything since coming out to WWE, to the main roster. He really hasn't done anything. But I don't really look at accomplishments as much as how over he is with the fans.
That makes sense.
I mean, when he comes out and when he returns, it's gonna be a huge pop. I guarantee it. But when he comes out and he does all these high flying moves, it's like you don't see that stuff in WWE these days. Rey Mysterio never did that stuff. There has not been a wrestler in WWE in ages that has been able to do the stuff that Neville can do in the ring.
I definitely agree with that.
Can I just say one thing too? I'm thinking about these lists and how they're going so far, and I think I know who number 1 is for everyone.
Yeah, I think we all know who
it's a pretty good call, but I'm guessing it's gonna be that person. But I'm not gonna say who it is because I think people are gonna realize it.
All right, Chris, you're number 4.
My number 4. Okay, my number 4 is gonna be Seth Rollins, actually.
Wow! Oh my God! That shocked the hell out of me right there.
Yeah, same here. Like, I swear
I figured he'd be your number 1. That's what I thought.
I'm definitely a Seth Rollins fan, but my number 1 beats Seth Rollins in my mind any day of the week.
Wow.
I'm definitely a Seth Rollins fan. Ever since he started in FCW, his matches with Dean Ambrose just amazed me. His ROH career. Seth Rollins, definitely one of my favorites, but I mean, number 4, not bad. Seth Rollins is his high-flying ability. I mean, he may not be a Neville, but the Phoenix Splash, the Springboard Knee, he has a repertoire that's, I mean, kind of unmatched. The Curve Stomp, even though it's banned, it was creative. It was shocking.
It was something you hadn't seen in WWE in a while, ever since MVP did his own take on it with the drive-by.
Definitely. And I mean, WWE World Heavyweight Champion from NXT, he did something.
The first ever.
Yep.
But you also have to. I'm going to say this right now too, before I forget. But I understand that they're considered 2 different things with the whole NXT reality version and the current day version. Mm-hmm. But technically, it would be Daniel Bryan, who's the first NXT champion.
Which is my favorite of all time. Let's put that out there.
But I'm just saying, but since we can't technically consider that NXT, it doesn't. I just don't understand why people don't consider it, because if it wasn't for that program being on, even though it was shit, the current day NXT would have never existed.
All right, Frank, let's take your number 4.
Number 4? Oh, wait, question. I know this is gonna sound bad, but is Dean Ambrose did Dean Ambrose ever compete for NXT?
He did compete for NXT.
Because
Yeah,
I heard
exactly.
because I heard he never did.
He went FC. He had like 2 matches in the current day NXT, and then moved up main roster. And he did compete
Okay.
in NXT while he was even on the main roster. He defended the U.S. title.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
right.
but that was technically him being on the main roster. Not...
Yes, but he did compete in a couple matches in the current day NXT before.
Okay,
moving
I
up
just
main
wanted to
roster.
confirm that, but
Yep.
he's not on this list. I just want to point that out right now because honestly, he's much
Honorable
better than
mention right
being. He would be considered an honorable mention for me,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
but I really consider him more of a going straight to the main roster kind of guy.
Mhm.
So if that makes sense,
yeah, I understand.
but
I got you.
but my number 4, Kevin Owens, and
Interesting.
I'm gonna say this right now from when I've seen, because I started hearing about him about 2002. About how he should have been in WWE as Kevin Steen, and so I started looking him up a little more. But it wasn't until actually when he debuted is actually when I thought maybe this guy. So I started looking him up a little more, like who's Kevin Owens, like, and then I started watching his matches with El Generico and AJ Styles and just all these other guys, and I'm like, why hasn't this guy been in the WWE from the get-go? I mean, this guy was. I'm like, what the hell? A guy about my size, maybe bigger. Actually, no, he is bigger, sorry. Doing all these high-flying moves that
you couldn't dream to think of
a guy
doing in a decade.
like him shouldn't do. Like,
pretty much.
and you're like, oh my god. And just to make it funny, too, I'm sorry, but there is only one person in history that can make CJ Parker look strong by letting his nose get broken within the first 5 minutes of a match.
There's only one person on this planet that can tease us with a package pile driver.
Yeah.
And then put it into a power bomb. That, I swear, that whole little thing right there infuriated me to the point where I just wanted to boo him.
Well, the pile driver's banned, so it kind of makes sense, but he still does it.
Well,
every so often.
Question to we're gonna pause the list real quick. Eric Young just debuted. His finishing moves a spike pile driver. What the hell is he gonna use?
Well, we'll find out Monday, or
Wednesday.
we'll find out on Wednesday.
All right,
I don't know. I have a feeling, honestly, Eric Young is going to be a James Storm.
I hope. I really hope not.
I don't want him to be, but I just have a weird feeling he's going to be.
I really hope he's not, because Eric Young is just that damn talented. And while I wish James Storm would have stayed too.
Yeah, especially now with Bobby Roode going to NXT from rumors. From the rumors, they have not confirmed it.
Is it all right?
And not to mention James
for my number 1, because I really can't decide.
What?
You have a tie for your number 1? I suppose
I have a tie.
Yeah, because I want to say a tie for number 1 as well. It's just like weird.
I literally can't decide between the two.
Right.
Well, we'll worry about that when we get to it, okay?
Yeah.
Right, so
when we get to number 2 is when we'll talk about it again. But yeah, Kevin Owens, he was a guy. Not to mention, think about this too. He beat John Cena in his debut match on the main roster. He was the NXT champion within 2 months of him joining WWE.
No,
he put on a match where it had to be stopped because of his brutality. He put on matches against guys you didn't think were possible to make look good. Like he did it against Ryback, Cesaro.
Are you saying that
obviously
Cesaro ain't
Ambrose.
good?
No, I'm not saying that. I thought their 2 styles would mismatch and it wouldn't be as good as it was. Like I thought it was going to be good. I just didn't expect it to be that good.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
I get what you're saying now, yeah.
Like it blew my mind in the process. But then you see the match against Ambrose and you're like, okay, that match is going to be the best match of the night, and it's just like that match is the best of the year. Like what could beat that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, my number 4 is going to be, and don't hate me for this, but he is probably one of my favorite guys that have come out of NXT in a long time. The Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin.
I don't hate you.
I'm not going to hate on you because the reason is I like Baron Corbin.
I'm not a
He's considered, for me, he would be my number 6. If we were going by top 10, he would be my number 6.
Well, the reasoning for me having him on this list is he's just his aura. First of all, is just he exudes dominance.
Mm-hmm. True.
Like you can't,
not to mention, you gotta remember too, he was part of a football team, and he got kicked off the football team, a professional football team. Yeah. So basically, he's in his zone. Now, imagine if he was an MMA guy.
Oh my God, he would just kill.
He would kill people.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a fight. It would be like boom. No, but Baron Corbin, you can't. When you watch him on TV, you can't help to think, okay, who's gonna get destroyed this week?
No, I gotta say this too. I'm really pissed that they destroyed Damien Sandow. I mean, the guy does a lot for the company, and yet
he did. He stuck with that horrible Mizdow gimmick for nearly.
Oh no! Okay, I'm gonna say I gotta stop you right there. Horrible? That was probably one of the funniest damn gimmicks he's ever had.
Hilarious. I'm just saying that the time that he was.
It got him a tag team title.
I'm just saying the time length that he was Mizdow was an overextended period of time where it should have stopped 2 months before it did. 3 months before it did. My bad.
Yeah, but the way they ended it though was.
It was good, but they literally could have done that in the Rumble match too.
They could have, but they weren't.
But I mean, Damien Sandow's enhancement talent. He's been that way since he came into the company. Really, since he walked in the main roster, he's been enhancement talent since he sang the parody of Randy Orton's theme song going down the ramp.
I don't remember that.
I do.
I don't either.
Look it up on YouTube. Damien Sandow parodies Randy Orton's theme song.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Baron Corbin for a second. I'm sorry.
No. So Damien Sandow's enhancement talent, and they needed somebody to put Baron Corbin over, and Damien Sandow's one they chose. I mean, he is now in Zack Ryder's position,
which I think is kind of bullshit in my opinion too. I'm just saying.
I agree with that as well. If we had our way, Roman Reigns would be in that position. And Damien Sandow will be in Roman Reigns' position.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember that post, too, on Amino.
Exactly.
It's like, we listen to the fans. No, you don't, because if not, Damien Sandow would be world champion.
And Roman Reigns would be enhancement.
Hell, Ambrose would have been champion. Even though I still am pissed off that Ambrose never was champion.
I have a feeling he's going to be champion this year.
But it's got to be set this year because that's the way they're going with it, pretty much.
Seth Rollins has got to, but he has to win the title from Seth. He has to win the title from Seth.
I'm saying this right now. No. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I know we're getting off topic and everything, but I gotta say this: the Shield against one another.
I still think
Ambrose pins Reigns.
I still think Ambrose needs to beat Seth Rollins. 1-on-1, triple threat, I don't care, but he needs to pin or submit Seth
I just thought of another top 5, by the way, we can do.
What was that?
Top 5 Eternal Rivals.
Oh, yes.
Eternal Feuds.
All right, well...
It would work.
Let's go into our number 3s. Chris, go ahead.
All right, number 3, definitely Samoa Joe.
Fairly amazing choice. Swear to God, if you have Finn Balor as the first pick...
The guy is dominant. He's the current NXT champion. I couldn't ask for a better champion right now. I mean, Finn Balor's great, but I'd take Samoa Joe over Finn Balor any day. I mean, I'm not saying Finn Balor's bad. I mean, I'm a Finn Balor fan. But I'm just saying, if there was like a blue pill and a red pill, Samoa Joe or Finn Balor, Samoa Joe any day for me. I mean, the guy's big, but he can do stuff, like you said with Kevin Owens, that no big man can or is supposed to do.
Pretty much, right?
I mean,
it's surprising.
Strikes,
yeah.
The Muscle Buster, perfect finisher. I mean,
unless you're Tyson Kidd.
Unless you're Tyson Kidd, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to put that one out there. Unless you're Tyson Kidd, then the Muscle Buster's not the greatest.
Number 3 from NXT, definitely the current NXT champion. Samoa Joe.
All right, Frank, how about yours?
All right, okay. Don't hate me for this one, but I'm going to have to go with 2 guys.
Okay.
For this one, the American Alphas.
That's a really good choice. Actually, I'm not gonna hate you at all for that one. Ready, Willing, Gable.
Ready, Willing, and Gable. And when you heard when I heard Jason Jordan say that for the first time, I was like, "Oh my god, this is actually a thing." At first, I couldn't take him serious. I really couldn't. And to watch their development over time and how well of a tag team they went with, considering, because I remember watching Jason Jordan for the first time, and I saw just Gable, or Jordan Gable. Sorry, Chad Gable. I always get their names wrong. I'm sorry, but when I saw these two, like how they were always arguing everything, and how maybe this tag team wouldn't work. It was kind of like the Golden Truth at the time. How one didn't want to team with the other.
The Golden Truth.
I had to make a reference to it in some way. I had to make a reference to this tag team in some way or another. I'm just saying, like, it was Jordan didn't want to team with Gable because he didn't think he was good enough. And then it was just like, you know what? He finally gave him a shot, and you saw how well they were. But I really couldn't take him serious because you had because these guys were actual collegiate wrestlers, and it was just like, okay, they're collegiate wrestlers, that's good, they're going to be the next World's Greatest Tag Team, or Team Angle, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm thinking, maybe this will actually work out in a way and help them advance in their careers, but they have to lose that whole, we're just better because we're wrestlers, not because we're, who we are.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there.
But over time, it started growing on me a little bit, and I'm like, like, I'm starting to like this more and more. And then they started coming out with their theme song before they were actually named the American Alphas. They were still Gable and Jordan. And then when they came out with the American Alphas, I'm like, that's actually not a bad name. And then you're just like, you're watching their development, and then you see them win the NXT Tag Team titles for the first time, which had the biggest fucking botch in my life, and I thought it was hilarious.
They had 2 during the night.
Yeah, 2.
By the way, that was not match of the night. Match of the night had to have been the encounter between Shinsuke.
The Shinsuke versus Sami Zayn. But let's not talk about that right now. But basically, you see these guys who were told you're never going to be champions because you can't win the big ones, just like Sami Zayn. And you see these amazing underdog stories, and it just makes you feel great to be able to witness those moments. And I think that's what actually makes me feel like, these guys would be a great tag team for the main roster, but at the same time, I think that they need to stay in NXT just to hone their skills a little more and prove we're not just going to be has-beens. We are the now, we are the current, we are the future. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it really does, actually, yeah. So I guess my turn for number 3?
Yep.
That is correct.
Again, this time, don't hate me. I have a tie for this one. I couldn't think of who to put in this spot because they're not as good as my top 2, but I can't put them below my bottom 2. I gotta go with Nakamura and the Revival.
I fully don't understand the Revival, but I know you're going to explain it. But wait. But Shinsuke, I can't put him on this list right now because I've only seen him compete a few times. So I can't really, until I see, these bigger matches, against Samoa Joe, against Eric Young, against, all these big-name guys.
I watch Shinsuke.
Especially since what I'm most excited for, too, is and we talked about this yesterday on the podcast, the whole Shinsuke versus Brock Lesnar match for Hawaii. Which I'm actually really excited for.
Brock Lesnar doesn't just bury Shinsuke.
I hope he doesn't. And I'm saying, and here's the reason why, too, is because these two guys would have a similar style in a way.
Yeah,
but
the
they both,
strong style.
they hit But would be a really good match too. Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, and Shinsuke. All 3 men hit hard and put in a no-holds-barred match.
Oh my God,
that would be...
Somebody would die.
Hell.
Would die.
Let's add Dean Ambrose too in the process.
Someone would die. Someone would die.
And that will make good television. That's all I'm saying.
So, my thoughts on Nakamura being on this list. Nakamura, I've watched him since he was in New Japan. I didn't watch all the stuff in New Japan. I only watched a couple of his matches. Watched a couple against Okada, which were to die for.
The only matches I've seen by Shinsuke are the matches with Sami Zayn, 2 matches against AJ Styles, and 1 against Kenny Omega.
See, I watched him against Okada, Kazuchika Okada. I watched him against Kenny Omega. I watched a couple of them against AJ Styles. I watched him against Sammy. I watched him against Elias Sampson. Hell, he put in a good match against Ty Dillinger.
Which is surprising.
Yeah. I've watched him do all this stuff in the past, and I know for a fact he has a bright future because he didn't immediately come into NXT with a Yoshitatsu gimmick. Thank God. Because if he had come into NXT with a Yoshitatsu gimmick, I was gonna run to Stamford, Connecticut, and punch Triple H in the face.
Well, you can't really blame Hunter for that one, because you forget that they develop their own talent when NXT. That's why it's called developmental talent.
Well, no, Hunter controls NXT. He controls the gimmicks and everything that they get.
But what exactly is considered the Yoshitatsu gimmick?
You know, the typical Japanese gaming style gimmick, I guess it would be called.
Well, he uses that in a way, but he puts more flair to it, which I think makes it better.
He's more like the Michael Jackson. He's like Mick Jagger combined with Michael Jackson put into one body.
The best way I can describe him, and this is serious too, is Michael Jackson, Shawn Michaels, and basically Brock Lesnar all in one person.
With hammers for knees, as what culture so happily described it as.
I thought it was sledgehammers, but okay.
Well, that works too. Either one. So I see bright things for Nakamura's future. I quite potentially see at least one WWE World Championship in his future.
I see an Intercontinental title in his reign because he doesn't seem to be even though he could be a main star. I feel like he would actually fit the Intercontinental title more because he was the
IWGP.
Yeah, and he was a 2-time Intercontinental champion from there, and he held that title with pride, no matter what.
Oh yeah, true.
And he made that title relevant again. That's actually one of the reasons why the Intercontinental title is actually I'm going to cut off topic for a minute too. When growing up too, I always never liked the idea of I never liked the idea of if I were to become a superstar, I'd get a world title shot. To me, it wasn't about the money or being known as the best. I wanted to make something relevant. And when the Intercontinental title was around, and I saw those matches, you had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage, Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, in the 2 biggest ladder matches, might I add, in history. Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect. Stone Cold versus The Rock. Owen Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. You had these matches where you had a title that truly meant something.
Nowadays you don't.
Because, like the current Intercontinental Champion is The Miz, a former world champion that shouldn't even hold the title. Someone like Zack Ryder, who could potentially be pushed towards his main head. Sorry. I was yawning in the process, or burping, I don't remember. Or I'm not entirely sure on that one. But Zack Ryder, he hasn't had a decent push in, 7 years?
5. 2011.
Yeah, 5.
5.
For my fault, 4 years. 4.5 years.
Yeah, so basically, and when they gave him the Intercontinental title, people were they were finally like, yeah, this guy deserves to be Intercontinental Champion. and then they just take it away from him because they don't think he's reliable enough. And it's like, I don't fully understand that. If you want him to be more reliable, bring Mojo Rawley as well to the main roster. You already have him in the back doing grunt work.
Exactly.
Just make him debut. Don't just surprise the hell out of it. Like,
so my other number 3 I'm gonna go back on topic now. Sorry, Frank.
Sorry.
So my other number 3 is gonna be the Revival, because I watched them when they were jobbers in NXT, when it was Dash and Dawson, and they were just those two guys that would put over the better talent, the better and bigger talent, because that's what they did. And then they started working and doing good and winning matches, and I'm like, these guys are like those guys who really don't care about your health in the ring. And anybody that knows that, anybody that watches my stuff on Wrestling Amino, the app that I'm on, and Christian and Frank are on, my character Brandon Syndicate is the guy that doesn't really care for his opponent's well-being in the ring. He more cares about pretty much destroying you and then winning the match.
I think that's a nice way to put it.
What was your way to put it, Frank?
Basically, he wants to murder you.
Pretty much.
That's the way I would put it.
He wants to murder you and then pin you.
No, he wants to murder you, eat your children, fuck your wife, and then
Jesus,
leave.
I gotta put another mature rating on this one.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna start putting these on mature ratings. Shoot. But, so the Revival of those guys that just don't care about your well-being in the ring and only care about winning. And when they won the NXT tag titles, I was like, that was out of nowhere. And then they started doing really good.
Especially since they won against the Von Villains at a show that wasn't, or a taping that wasn't even a special. It was just a basic show.
It was a regular show, and they won him. And it was like, are these guys just going to hold the titles because they don't want Enzo and Cass to go over Vaudevillains, or what? And then Enzo and Cass fought him twice. And might I say, whatever that finishing move is the Revival used, I don't know what it's called, I forget. But whatever that finishing move is, when they did Enzo off top rope, I'm like, okay, Enzo's dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, Enzo has about 8 broken ribs right now. Because that finishing move looks brilliant. The flapjack into the lung blower, it's just, it looks like it'll break your ribs.
It probably would, too.
Exactly.
It'd probably crush your sternum entirely.
Exactly. So that's my reason behind the Revival is that they're the kind of guys that I look forward to watching to come out and fight because they're that good.
Okay, I can kind of see that now.
All right.
And the reason why for number 3.
Christian, you're number 2, please.
Number 2.
I'll be right back. I'm
Sami
sorry.
Zayn.
Oh, yeah. We had to see that one coming.
Yeah, Sami Zayn. The reason I've always liked him, even in ROH, even now in NXT and on the main roster, he's always reminded me of Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, favorite of all time. Sami Zayn is just simply amazing. His athletic ability and the fan support.
He
every time I see
the fan support, seeing as everybody sings his theme song 24/7.
Yeah, Sami Zayn in my mind has it all. I can't name one thing Sami Zayn is literally bad at, and that's definitely why he's my number 2. I mean, he may not have got the NXT Championship for long because of Kevin Owens, but I mean, he drove with it. The ultimate underdog story, beating Neville at our Evolution.
That was an amazing storyline in my opinion. That was the best storyline of the year. Sami Zayn beating everybody who had beaten him in the past to earn his right to the championship, and then finally going through every single experience that happened in his past championship matches with Neville, going through all of them, and finally coming out on top of the championship. Because if you think about it, he kicked out of the surprise roll up from Neville, which happened in one of their previous championship matches. He had the championship belt that he didn't use, and that Neville rolled him up with and kicked out, and that was another one of championship matches. He was able to reverse was able to take all of their previous championship match experiences, mold them into one amazing, phenomenal, surprised they didn't win match of the year candidate matches, and just it was honestly the match of the year.
I definitely agree.
But yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, this feud with Kevin Owens is gonna be like Frank spoke about earlier, an eternal feud. Like this feud
Definitely.
is just, they put on great matches every time. It's gonna be an amazing match.
But I just thought I'd mention too. I actually left for the first half of his talking.
I know, we heard you.
About why. I'm sorry. I just came back.
That's all right.
It's okay.
What would your number 2 be, Mr. Geeling?
Mine's actually a tie again. Because I don't know which one of these I actually would want on top, but they're not as good as my number 1. And my number 2 are actually a tie between Sami Zayn and Cesaro.
I forgot Cesaro competed in NXT.
Yeah, he debuted on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Sami Zayn debuted defeating Cesaro in NXT.
True.
And
But you've already explained the reasoning behind why Sami Zayn would be a number 2.
Brilliant, yeah.
For me, perfectly already.
Yeah.
However, the one thing I can say about Cesaro is, go watch his matches. Watch how entertaining he is.
That's pretty much the only way you can say anything. Like just go watch his matches. Like, there's no way to
just go
explain.
watch his feats of strength. Like, I remember him swinging the Great Khali. What was it, 20 times?
Battleground 2013.
If you go back to his stuff,
How many times did he swing the Great Khali? A guy who's 7 foot, 300
like
something
18
pounds.
or 19.
Yeah, 18.
And he just kept
there.
going and going and going, and you're like,
go on
is
YouTube
he ever
and
gonna
look at
stop?
He did a 100 rotation swing on the indie circuits.
yeah, and you're like, when you see it too, you're like, oh my god, you're dizzy. You could see the people in the crowd too. They're like,
The people
When's
in
he
the
gonna
crowd were
stop?
dizzy.
even though they were counting too, they were counting it 1, 2, 3, and then they get all the way to 100, and you're like, oh my god.
Like 61, 62.
But I think what actually makes it better now too is that not only with the swing, but how he's actually doing it with Tyson Kidd's finishing the sharpshooter. Basically, I think that actually helps it too because it shows that he can actually do something with it.
Yeah, instead of it just being a swing.
Yeah, but I think it actually would be really cool if he actually took the swing, and then like he popped the legs over his like head, and then just pulled them up, right from the ground, like straight up,
like a
and did the
powerbomb?
neutralizer. No, like he pulled them straight up and held them, and then did the neutralizer, and then just slammed them. Like he pulled them by their
I
legs
just realized
up.
the neutralizer is pretty much, and don't get me wrong, it's pretty much the Styles Clash, right?
Yeah, but it's a lot more safer
locking the
too
arms. Yeah,
when you think about
you
it
don't have to
too.
lock the arms.
Yeah, because you can easily cover your head in the process.
Yeah. Well, so I guess you're done with Cesaro then?
Yeah, I have to say Cesaro because you just gotta go watch his matches. Like, they're entertaining, they're fun, and the way he's going right now, even though I don't like his current gimmick, I really don't understand it. Why he's going with the whole James Bond.
I think that's just for his feud with Miz, and he's going to go back to good old Cesaro.
I really hope so because
Yeah.
But I just don't understand it.
Well,
why?
my number 2.
When he was just the king of swing, it was fine.
My number 2 is going to be everybody else's number 4. And that's me, Mr. Kevin Owens.
Wait, that was only my number 4.
My fault. Your number 4.
that wasn't mine.
It was his number 5, wasn't it? Was your Christian?
No, his number 4 was Seth Rollins, which shocked the hell out of both of us.
Oh yeah, my fault. No, my number 2 is going to be Frank's number 4, Mr. Kevin Owens.
I don't even think he put Kevin Owens on the list.
Nope.
Oh my man.
Okay, I gotta ask you right now. Hold on, Chris. I'm sorry, Brandon, but I got. If Kevin Owens isn't on your top 5, then who the hell is? Where would he be for a top 10?
I guess you'll have to wait and see.
Oh man.
If he's number 1, I'm gonna be surprised as fuck.
Well, my number 2 is Kevin Owens, and because I didn't watch a lot of his stuff on on the independent circuits. I didn't really, I'd never heard of him before he came into NXT. I actually legitimately had not. I didn't know who the hell he was. Since then I have.
I recognize his face.
Since then I have watched a few of his things, but not much. But from what I've seen in WWE, I mean, this guy can move. Everybody remembers Husky Harris, right? Floats like
AKA Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I know this. I was talking about Husky Harris.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is the much more popular, much more athletic, much more over, much better Husky Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Where he can move like a Ferrari and he can hit you like a train. And, I mean, Kevin Owens, the dives he does with the top rope, the moonsault he never hits. You know, the one where he stands facing them, jumps backwards, and goes to the moonsault that he absolutely never hits, which kind of pisses me off. But, you know, Kevin Owens is just that guy that you can't help but to hate. I mean, even on Twitter, he's a douche.
But in real life, he's actually one of the nicest guys you can meet.
I have no doubt in real life he's actually one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in your life. But when he's on the mic and when he's on Twitter or when he's on TV, he's just an absolute dick you just can't help to hate.
Well, I think that's what makes him more popular.
And that's what I love about him, is that you can't help but hate him. So, Christian, it's time for your number one pick.
Well, I guess, hold on, I'm going to have to go with honorable mentions.
Wait. Yeah, we have to do at least
mentions.
3 honorable mentions.
We won't explain, but we'll do honorable mentions.
I actually have 3 honorable mentions. Neville, Kalisto, Bray Wyatt. Definitely. 3 honorable mentions.
Frank, yours?
Neville, Kalisto, definitely for the same reason. They inspire, in the ring, nothing can excite you like a Neville or Kalisto match. Their high flying, their athletic ability. I mean, Neville may have not done much yet, but, he's getting there. He's injured now, but Kalisto, his U.S. title reign isn't that promising, but I think Kalisto has a future, definitely.
That makes sense.
And Bray Wyatt, I absolutely love Bray Wyatt. I'm so glad they got rid of the Husky Harris gimmick and got this perfect gimmick for Bray. He's got everything. His wrestling ability, it's great. But his mic work, he's literally amazing. I get chills when he opens his mouth.
For those of you that are on Wrestling Amino, if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, I play Bray Wyatt in a league called AWL. And I actually cut a promo tonight on, hey, by the way, Christian, I cut this promo on Chris Termanco. You know who Chris Termanco is, right?
I do.
I am facing him at XWE Payback. Or not XWE Payback, AWL Payback.
Interesting. But yeah, those are my 3 honorable mentions.
All right, Frank.
Now, I guess you guys go. Yeah.
My honorable mentions are Kalisto as well. I didn't really think about this. I didn't actually think about honorable mentions, believe it or not.
Neither did I.
I was gonna suggest that though too. But I thought I would have a little more time because I didn't expect him to say it too. But yeah, Kalisto is number 1 for an honorable mention because I like the guy and he already has these amazing moments that will never be forgotten. But his U.S. title reign is stale, pretty much. It's stale.
I agree with that.
Number 2 is going to be Tyler Breeze. And the reason I'm saying is because he's a good competitor and he deserves better for what he is.
I like Tyler Breeze. He definitely would be on my top 10.
Yeah, he's a unique guy. But the way they're pushing him is not good. He was a guy who could make anyone look good, and yet they don't do that. and it makes me mad. And then number 3 is Rusev.
Forgot about Rusev.
Yeah. Back when he was Alexander Rusev.
Rusev is an amazing athlete. I have to say that.
All right.
I totally forgot.
Well, my three honorable mentions. I'm going Kalisto as well. When we all agree on. U.S.
Definitely.
title, his U.S. title thing is pretty stale, but he puts on but every time he steps in that ring, it's like, okay, Kalisto, how are you going to hit Salida Del Sol this time? My other two,
I agree with that.
My other two, and I'm not sure if we were going to allow this or not, but I decided, you know what, screw it. Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch.
Yeah, I didn't think we were including women.
I didn't know if we were including
If I did, Sasha Banks would definitely be high up on my top 5.
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought when we said superstars, I thought we were going to stay with superstars.
If we're not going to do divas, then Kalisto.
Because I was thinking we could do a divas.
Or women.
How about this? How about right after we do this top 5? Why don't we do a top 5 of divas real quick?
Not tonight, because I got other stuff I got to do tonight.
Okay.
We can do that probably in the next few nights. Probably we can do that actually Tuesday night when we come on the podcast. But so if we're not doing divas then for tonight, Kalisto is definitely in that honorable mentions list. Sami Zayn is gonna be on that honorable mentions list for me because I did not have it in my top 5, and American Alpha are gonna be on there as well, for the same reasons y'all did. Sami Zayn is just that lovable guy that you can't help but to love and to adore and want to be like, and then American Alpha are, the most over tag team out of anything. Enzo and Cass have got to be on there too, though.
Yeah, they do, but I'm gonna say this right now. It's like they would be my number 9 at most.
Yeah. See, Enzo and Cass.
They're funny. I'll admit that they are hilarious.
Yeah.
I was telling Frank this earlier. Enzo, I swear, Enzo comes out with a microphone and just says whatever comes to his mind. He doesn't even know what he's saying.
I think that's what Vince does too. It's like, hey, listen, we're gonna give you a mic. We're gonna give you some time. We want you to just go out there and say whatever the hell you guys want, because it feels like that. That's how it's going.
I don't even think Enzo knows what he says at the time.
For God's sakes, look what he did with the whole A-Cup situation. It's like, you may not like it, you could love us or hate us, but we're here. It's like, did he seriously just say that? And then then you have the whole what Petit from What Culture goes, I don't even could try to explain that to your son or daughter. It's like, Mommy, what's an A-Cup?
Oh, you mean Adam Blumpier?
I'll tell you when you're older.
Oh, no, King Ross. You're talking about King Ross.
Oh, yeah, King Ross. Sorry. I thought it was...
By the way, you can follow What Culture WWE in the description below. I'm going to put that one down there, too. Let's plug that.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to. And also, let's talk about... Don't forget to plug the Wrestle Talk for your latest update news, too.
Yeah, I guess so.
If you want an actual valid source.
True.
Which is mainly where we get ours, too, sometimes. But we also get from Amino and the actual, websites, too.
All right, well, let's go on to our number ones. Christian, you're up, my friend.
I can't wait to hear this. I cannot wait to hear this because I thought for sure I knew what his number 1 is, but when he said Seth Rollins is number 4, I was like, oh my God.
It
shocked the hell out of me. Seriously, how much, Bren, did you expect that? Because I didn't.
I was expecting all of us to have Seth Rollins number 1.
It's like an RKO out of nowhere.
So, Christian, you're number 1.
I get it. But my number 1.
Hold on, wait. Let me do this.
It was Kevin Owens.
Oh my God, Kevin Owens being his number 1. Holy shit.
Come on, guys. You think I would forget about Kevin Owens?
I didn't expect Kevin Owens to be your number 1. I really didn't.
Definitely my number 1.
Well, Kevin Owens is the best wrestler on the fucking roster right now, so.
Definitely.
Who's not injured. We need to add that.
He's not injured.
Simply amazing. Definitely probably my current favorite wrestler right now. I mean, since Daniel Bryan's retired, Kevin Owens definitely probably my favorite wrestler, injured or not.
I think that would have actually been a good match, too. Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I mean, that match would have been incredible. I don't even think they've ever fought.
Get on the mic. And in NXT, he had I gotta say, the perfect debut. Celebrate with Sami Zayn, your lifelong friend, and then betray him. And then the next month, just like that, win the NXT Championship. I love Sami Zayn to death. That's why he was my number 2. But that was a good way for Kevin Owens to get on the scene.
And then his WWE debut, his main roster
against
debut
John Cena.
I mean when he actually just first came out, hit Cena with a pop-up powerbomb, and then stomped on that U.S. title.
Yeah, like that.
They booked in perfect NXT debut and main roster debut. They knew what they were doing with Kevin Owens. They knew what they had, and I know what they have as well. Kevin Owens, definitely my number 1 any day.
So let me ask you this one, Christian. Besides his finishing maneuver, what is your favorite move that Kevin Owens uses in WWE?
Besides his finisher?
I'm gonna go with the pump. I'm gonna go with the pump handle neck breaker from the top rope.
Well,
I love it every time he delivers it.
The pump handle neck breaker from the top rope. Are you talking about the sidewinder? Suplex or whatever it was. Yeah.
Definitely, every time he delivers it.
Mine's gonna be that pump handle neck breaker. It looks like he's breaking your spine in half.
I got you. Yeah, mine would be off the sidewinder. God dang it! Off the top row. Every time he delivers it, gives me chills. I have to say, yeah, that's my favorite move. And Kevin Owens, definitely my number 1 any day of the week.
All right, and if you could choose him to have any no finishing maneuver other than the pop-up powerbomb, or if you could have the pop-up powerbomb, which would you have?
I do love the package file driver, but I'd have to say the pop-up powerbomb. I'd say the pop-up powerbomb. I think it fits him.
Yeah,
I think it definitely fits his character and everything.
All right, Mr. Geeling, your number 1 pick.
Go.
I think it's pretty obvious.
It's got to be. That's 1.
I think we
3.
Let's see on 3, 2, 1. Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins. Yep.
It's got to be Seth Rollins. Your reasoning behind it, Frank?
Simple. The guy went from being the first NXT champion to being World Heavyweight Champion, to the first ever guy to hold the World Heavyweight and United States Championship. Plus, the way he was developed, even though, I didn't like how he was being developed at first, but over time it grew on me with the whole Shield gimmick and then him becoming just the pure architect, showing that he basically became what I know you don't want to say this, but Edge 2.0. He picked his moments perfectly. And he had amazing matches. I definitely agree. I think there's no one who could make the match between him, Cena, and Lesnar better at the Royal Rumble. I don't think there's anyone who could have done that. Though what really made me a little pissed off was the way it was pushed with John Cena and him for SummerSlam. That's one of the things that kind of pissed me off, is how the ending was.
He couldn't get the clean win over Cena, right?
Yeah, which I think we've actually made him amazing. But when's the last time Cena won clean or lost clean?
Kevin Owens' Elimination Chamber last year.
Yeah, before
or 2014, 2015.
But before that?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Exactly.
Daniel Bryan, just a guess.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan. That was the last time.
Yep.
And I think that winning clean against Cena would have pushed his career through the roof already.
Yeah.
But when he broke Cena's nose, oh my God.
Have you seen
live on television, too. Oh my God. The pictures, the gifs, the shirt. I almost bought that shirt, I had. I wanted to buy that shirt.
Too. I almost bought it.
You can't see knees. And I think it's funny, too, is that if you guys have seen Grimm's Toy Show, have you guys seen Grimm's Toy Show?
Yes, I have seen Grimm's Toy Show.
I have.
I'm not a big fan of Grimm's Toy Show, but I have seen Grimm's Toy Show.
Yeah.
I watch it, mainly for his actual wrestling. That I don't like.
Those are usually the only videos I watch.
Yeah, sometimes I'll watch the whole GTS wrestling action figures display. And I think it's funny that he's been saying the you can't see knees with Cena for years, and I think it's finally funny that he doesn't, claim WWE copyright. Like, I think that's funny in the process. But Seth Rollins, plus I love how when he won the title too, he did the whole title swinging thing. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, that's gonna fucking go in the crowd and hit someone or something. Or he's gonna throw either one of four things are gonna happen.
In the crowd.
Yeah, that'd be a great Super Nearly Wrestling with.
Could you imagine heavy metal objects into the crowd? Who likes Brock Lesnar destroying a car?
Oh man, that was amazing. We need to talk about that too.
Well, yeah,
we need to do our top 5 payback moments. Like, I think we should do that.
Yeah, we can actually do that on Tuesday because top 5 payback moments after in payback review.
Yeah, it would make sense. Like, but I'm not talking about. I'm talking about moments when wrestlers, got payback. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just make sense.
My reasoning behind Seth Rollins being my number 1 pick, I watched him on the independent circuits. I watched him in FCW. I watched him in NXT. I watched him on the main roster. I watched him grow as a wrestler. I watched him become the guy.
So you saw him when he was Tyler Black.
I saw him when he was Tyler Black. I watched him when he became Seth Rollins, and I watched him when he became the Architect, Seth Rollins. And he has done nothing but impress me since the day I started watching him. Whether it be the God's Last Gift, the small package driver, the Phoenix Splash, the paroxysm, I think it was called, or paradism or something. It was whatever it was called. All of his moves and everything he did was just so fluent in the ring that you couldn't help but to love it.
And it makes me wonder, just real quick, too, what WWE's going to do with him once he comes back, because he was the biggest heel in the company at the time.
He's got to come back face.
He does, but at the same time, it makes you wonder, I'm going to be serious, too, if he... I wanted to mention this yesterday during the payback predictions, but what if he comes back and he comes out with Dean Ambrose and to fight the Bullet Club? Could you imagine that match?
Yes, I could. And, I'm pretty sure that that's an orgasm waiting to happen.
Just imagine this. Wyatt family, Bullet Club, Shield, and for just some reason, Evolution.
Or put the Authority in there.
Yeah, put the Authority in general. You got Triple H, Triple H, Big Show, and Kane, I guess.
Ow, that hurt. That legitimately hurt my chest.
Oh God, there was an explosion outside.
Oh God, who just blew up?
I don't know. It sounded like a gunshot though.
Lock the doors and
or a firework.
Oh, that's a lot.
Because I hear a real quick and then boom. What was that?
All right, well, so yes.
But I also have redneck neighbors too, so.
It could also be a gunshot. All right, so that was our top 5.
No. Yeah.
Current or former NXT superstars that are still on WWE today.
Check us out on Tuesday when we give not only our top 5 payback moments, or when WWE superstars got payback,
but we're also doing our
top 10 NXT divas. By the way, I'm gonna say this too. Whoever's our guest, and Chris, this might be you. If Eva Marie's on that list, I'm going to walk down to their house and fucking punch them in the face.
I'm gonna put Eva Marie.
I hate Eva Marie.
On my list.
If I'm the guest, you have no words.
Because the only people who deserve to be on that list in any way are Emma, Dana Brooks, Bailey, Sasha Banks, Charlotte.
So basically Emma, Dana Brooke, Sasha Banks, Bailey, Becky Lynch, and the copyright infringement diva.
Not only that, too, Blue Pants.
I'll take a Nia Jax.
Yeah, Nia Jax. She's not a bad diva.
She's not.
Yeah.
She's just
She's just not getting that push that she needs. Let's see who else is there. Carmella,
Alexa Bliss.
You got Alexa Bliss, Carmella. That's 10
Peyton
divas
Royce,
right there.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people. All right, guys. So once again, my name is Spartan Gaming 18. I was here with my friend Frank, my friend Christian. This is the Next Gen podcast. Catch us again on Tuesday night when we do our Payback 2016 live review, as well as our Raw after Payback, and our NXT review, as well as the couple of lists we just announced. We'll also be having other news that night. Plus, if we have next week, and we're going to be having our friend Devin back.
And maybe we'll even have another special guest in the process.
Yes, we might actually have another special guest in the process. I am actually working on it right now. Not as we speak, but right now. So,
but, yeah, you never know.
Again,
anyway, I'm Natural Geeling.
I love how Christian says nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been Chris.
Let's try this again.
Yes, fan.
I'm the natural Frank Kelly.
I've been Yes Fan 25, a.k.a. Chris, a.k.a. Christian.
And I've been Spartan Gaming 18. This was the
and
Next
we
Gen
will see you
next Gen
next
podcast.
Time. Bye.
Catch y'all next time.
Stay
Hey,
classy.
make sure you don't get caught in the elevator.
God damn it.